Okay, here's the second half of the homework paper. It's the November 2018 Intermediate Unit 2 Numeracy paper. So we'll start with question 7, which gives us a graph about the number of bikes which are made on the 1st of July of each year from 2012 to 2017. The first question says how many bikes were made on the 1st of July 2014. So you define what 2014 is, you read up your graph and then come across. It's actually 1,100. You can't, the graph hasn't come out properly on the photocopier, but if you read up to your graph and then come across, you should be able to see this 1,100 on your homeworks. From the graph, is it possible to say how many bikes were made on the 1st of December 2014? You must give a reason for your answer, and that would be no, because it says that it only shows the number of bikes made on the 1st of July of each month. So it's no, graph only shows the number of bikes made on the 1st of July each year. Okay, part C, complete the statement below. On the 1st of July 2017, there were something times as many bikes made on 1st of July 2012. So if we find out how many bikes were made on 1st of July 2012, I think that's 500. So in July 2012, we've got 500 bikes. And then on July 2017, if you read up to your graph and then come across, that's 3,500. You should be able to see, to get from 500 to 3,700, you times by 7. So there's 7 times as many more bikes than on July 2012. Okay, on the 1st of December 2016, 4,000 bikes were made. The tube factory was working at 80% capacity on that day. This means that only 80% of the maximum possible number of bikes were made. When the factory works at 95% of capacity, how many bikes were made? So when the capacity was 80%, 4,000 bikes were made. So really, if you find out what 1% is, and then find out what 95% is, that will give you your answer. So you need to get your calculator. So I need to do 80%, so we do 80, the percent key would be shift, sorry, it's different on this calculator, 80, shift, and it's the answer key on this calculator. Then we times it by, sorry, I'm working out the percentage amount, so, sorry, to get 1%, you need to divide 4,000 by 80, which is 50, and if 1% is 50, 95%, I just got to times that by 95, and that gives me 4,750. Okay, E part 1. In October 2018, the manager of the Tube Cycles factory recorded the number of bikes made each day, and he's put them into groups here. So from 1,000 to 2,000, there was 3. From 2,000 to 3,000 bikes, there was 12, and so on. It says calculate an estimate of the mean number of bikes made per day during October in 2018. So all we know that on 3 days there were bikes between 1,000 and 2,000, but we don't actually know the number of bikes. So what we need to do is estimate. So we make an estimate by assuming that we take on the midpoint for each group. So there's 2 ways of doing it. You can either add on extra 2 columns, and then you call one your midpoint, and then the other one is your midpoint times your frequency. Well, this is your frequency, your F for frequency. So the midpoint of this group, you can add up the 2 values and half the answer, or you should just be able to see it. So that would be 1,500. Midpoint of this group is 2,500. Mid group of this one is 3,500, and the mid group of this one is 4,500. So that basically means we've got 3 days where 1,500 bikes were made, 12 days where 2,500 were made, and so on. So we need to times these together to get the total number of bikes. So 3 times 1,500 is 4,500. 12 times 2,500 is 30,000. 9 times 3,500 is 31,500. And 7 times 4,500 gives me 31,500. And to get the total of all of them, if we just add this column together, so 4,500 plus 30,000 plus 31,500 plus 31,500. That gives me altogether 97,500 bikes made in total. So to calculate the mean, it's the total number of bikes, which is 97500, and we divide by the frequency, which is the total of this column here, and that adds up to 15, 24, 31. So that gives me an answer of 3,145.2 for 1 decimal place. Which group contains the median number of bikes? Well, median sounds like the word medium, so which group contains the middle value? Well, you've got 31 bikes, so the middle value of 31 numbers is going to be the 16th number, or the 15.5th, and then rounded up to 16. Well, 3 of your days are here, then you've got 12 there, so your first 15 are in these two groups. The 16th one will actually be in this group here, 3,000 to 4,000. Okay, you've got some information about exchange rates and the number of notes and stuff here on question 8. 8A asks, Amrit has £480 to buy Swiss francs. Calculate the maximum number of Swiss francs that Amrit can buy and how much to the nearest penny this will cost him. So, first thing we need to do, we want to buy Swiss francs, so we're looking at the exchange rate here for buying, and we're changing from pounds to Swiss francs, so we've got to times by 1.24. So this number of Swiss francs is going to be 480 times by 1.24. And that gives me 595.20 Swiss francs. But if you read here, it tells you you can only have denominations of 10, 20, 50, 100, 200 and 100. There's no coins. So we could only actually get, we could have two 200s, a 100, that would make 500, a 50 would make 550. We could have two 20s, so we can actually only change 590 Swiss francs. So we need to work out how much to the nearest penny that will cost him, because we're only actually changing 590 rather than the £480 worth here. So if we're going to change this back into pounds, we would then need to divide that by 1.24 because we're going back to pounds. So we're going to divide by 1.24. 590 divided by 1.24, that gives me £475 and 81 pence to the nearest penny. Okay, part B, Gareth paid £250 to buy Swiss francs, 310 Swiss francs. Unfortunately, he's now unable to go on holidays or to Switzerland. How much will Gareth lose in selling 310 Swiss francs back to pounds? So if you look here, the exchange rate for selling them is 1.28. So we are changing 310 back into pounds. So we need to divide by 1.28. And that gives me £242 and 19 pence to the nearest penny. So the amount of these lost is going to be £250. Take away the £242 and 19 pence, which is going to be £7.81. Okay, question 9 is asking us to calculate the volume of Leonard's tent. Well, you can see it's a triangular prism. To work out the volume of a prism, it's the cross-sectional area. So the area of the end face, which in this case is a triangle, and then we just times it by the length. The problem is, to work out the area of a triangle, it is base times the height. Well, we know what the base is, because if that's 0.7, that's going to be 0.7, so the base is going to be 1.4, but we need the perpendicular height here, which is this, not the slanting edge, this height here. Well, we can work that out because what we've actually got here is a right angle triangle, so we can use Pythagoras' theorem to work out the height here. So if I just made a sketch of that triangle there, we'll call this h for height. This is 0.7 meters, and this is 1.8. I can use Pythagoras to work out h, and then I can work out the volume of the tent. So, Pythagoras theorem, step 1, square both numbers. Decide whether to add or subtract. Well, because we're finding one of the shorter sides, we're going to take them away. So I need to do 1.8 squared, take away 0.7 squared, which gives me 2.75. Then I just square root my answer. So the height is going to be the square root of 2.75, which is 1.66 meters. Okay, so now to get the volume, it's the cross-sectional area. Cross-sectional area is the triangle, which is going to be base times height divided by 2, and then I just got to times that by the length, which is 2.5. So my volume is going to be, the base is 1.4. My height I've just worked out to be 1.66. Divide that by 2, and then you've got to times that by 2.5 to get the length. So 1.4 times 1.66. Divide that by 2, and then times by 2.5. That's going to give me the volume of the tent, which is 2.905 meters cubed. Okay, which of the following is equal to 0.2 meters cubed? You need to know that 1 meter cubed is 1,000,000 centimeters cubed. 1 meter is 100 centimeters, but 1 meter cubed is 100 centimeters cubed. So 100 cubed is 1,000,000 centimeters cubed. So what we need to do is times 0.2 by 1,000,000, which gives me an answer of 200,000, which is this one. Okay, question 10 is all to do with mass, density and volume. You need to remember your formula triangle, which looks like this.